Now, the portobello is not a wild mushroom. It is a cultivated mushroom. And believe it or not, it is the big brother of the button mushroom. So when you go to the grocery store and you see this type of a mushroom, it started out life as a button mushroom, then it became a cremini, and then it became a portobello. So this is what they look like. And when you get them home, they have a little dirt on them. So you want to just kind of brush that off, either with a mushroom brush or just use a damp paper towel. Make sure that the mushroom cap is not split anywhere. Look underneath to make sure that where the gills are, it's attached right to that stem. If you see open areas here, oh, the mushrooms, you don't want that. So then you just want to take that off and throw it away. So for this recipe, we need 4 large ones. Some people like to use this in soup. I think it's just a little too tough, so I'm just going to get rid of it. There's 3. And let's see, how about this one? That's a nice big one. 4, so let's do 4. Put them back on the plate here. And talk about a filling that we're going to make for those. We're going to start with some spinach. But before we do that, whoops, we're going to add some olive oil to a pan. A little extra virgin olive oil. And we're going to get those caps soft. So, just put a thin film of olive oil in a saute pan. Heat it up a little bit. And you add your caps. I'm not going to add them just yet because I want that olive oil to get hot. But for the filling, you have options. I like to think of this as a little tart without a crust. You're using the mushroom cap as your crust. And of course, it's much healthier for you that way. So we have some spinach here in a bowl. You can either use a 10-ounce package of frozen spinach that you've defrosted and squeezed dry. Don't cook the spinach if you're using frozen because it's already been cooked. Just squeeze it dry. We're going to add some eggs to this. So here are 3 eggs. This is going to help bind this. If you don't want to use frozen spinach, you could use fresh spinach. A pound of fresh spinach will give you about a cup of spinach well squeezed after it's cooked. So there is our egg mixture with the spinach, and we just want to move that around, get that well mixed. And now I think my olive oil is hot enough so I can add those mushroom caps. So we'll put them in cap side down. Cap side down, and we're only going to cook these for a couple of minutes. We just want the cap to soften a bit. So I'm going to turn the heat down there while I finish the filling. Just want that to soften a little bit. And then again, we want more lemons. So I'm going to juice up 3 more lemons and put them through my juicer. This is going to give a really nice flavor. If you don't have a gadget like this, you should really get one. It makes life so much easier in the kitchen. So there is our juice again. It's getting a little slippery now. Let me get that off. And we're going to add some juice right to our spinach mixture. I don't think I need all of that now because those were fairly large mushrooms. That's about enough. The rest you can make lemonade with. So we're going to set this aside. And we need some cheese for this. And for this, I like to use a good fontina. This is fontina. You recognize it by its brown rind. Don't just ask for fontina, ask for Italian fontina because there's also Danish fontina. Let me see what's going on here. I'm going to turn this off now. Let that go. And let me just check the undersides of those. They look good. All right, we're going to take those out now and put them on, a cutting board will do. Take them out carefully because you don't want to burn yourself. They're just You see, a little bit brown on the underside, and they're just a bit softer. And let them just drain until you can handle them. I think this is a great way to have a little tart. So we're going to set that aside while we do the cheese. Here's that fontina. So you want to take off that rind. I do that with a cheese knife. Just go around, take that rind off. Some people eat that, so if you're inclined to do so, fine. And then we need a cheese grater. And this is a very soft cheese, so be gentle with it. Fontina comes from the Valdosta in northern Italy, and it's a soft cow's milk cheese. So when you're cooking, you want to use those ingredients that make most sense for the dish you're making. So if you need a cheese that's going to melt readily, you want a softer cheese. Would I use a Parmigiano for this? No, because that's a hard cheese. I want a soft cheese, so this works perfectly well. A mozzarella would be another cheese that you could use. So there is the cheese. So half of the fontina goes in here, and the rest we're going to add to the top of our dish. So I'm going to just set this aside for a minute so I can show you how this goes. So get the cheese mixed in. And there are options here as well. If you didn't want to use spinach for this, you could use some other type of green. You could use, for instance, Swiss chard. If you didn't want to use fontina cheese, well, as I say, you could use something else like a mozzarella. Now we have to fill those caps and put them in a bake dish. Oh no, actually we're not going to put them in a bake dish. I'm going to put them back in here because this is an oven-proof pan, so I can use this right in the oven. So let me turn that off. It was a late night last night, folks. Okay, so now that we have this, we take some of it and pack it right there. It's going to stay exactly where you put it. Pack it right there. Isn't that nice? Put it on top. Just pack it. Get that out of the way. This is going to bake at 350 degrees. So that's all of our filling. And now we want to put the rest of the cheese on top. And then we're going to bake this covered in the oven. So the cheese goes on. I think they're very pretty. And now you carefully take them, put them back in the pan. Same pan you use, I forgot to tell you that. Use an oven-proof skillet. Gorgeous. All right. Now, we're going to put the cover back on this and cook this covered for a few minutes, and then we're going to take the cover off and let them finish cooking. So into the oven they go.